Good morning, guys. Today you're going to be logging in and beginning your Benchmark Advanced Interim, your beginning of year assessment. This just helps Ms. Corbin and I see where your reading and comprehension is, so we know how to best help you. So don't be nervous, don't be worried, but please give it your best shot so that we're not trying to help you do something that you really know how to do. You just got it wrong because you weren't trying hard. So we're going to show you how to log in to the interim, or at a different video, on a different video, but this is just actually a video kind of showing you how to use your tools once you get into the online assessment. Again, some of you may be very familiar with these from the last couple of years doing your assessments online. Some of you may have no idea they exist. So I have just pulled up part of your test to show you how to use some of the really good tools that are on here. So one of my favorite tools, and this is when we're working together in person and online, hard copy or electronic, is the highlighter. The most important part of a highlighter is it is used to highlight things that are important, or things that help you understand something, or things you have a question about. But if I use my highlighter and I highlight everything, nothing is important. Okay, so when we're using our highlighter, the point is, maybe I've already looked ahead at my questions and I go, oh wow, look, there's one of the answers. I'm going to highlight it. Okay, so maybe there's a question that talks about what you think a plague is, and you see the word plague. And then as you read about this plague, you see the insects swept over the homestead. You see they approached like a dark cloud. They landed on everything in sight. They were crawling on her skin. She heard endless chewing. So all of these things put together might help me understand what a plague is. So I've highlighted them, but not the whole section. So as you may have seen, and I'm going to undo this to show you how I used it slowly. I went to my toolbox. Okay, tools are things we use to help us fix things, make things better. So this is the same thing for our academics with math and with reading. We have tools that we can use to help us understand things and do things better. So in my toolbox, there are 3 tools. The first is the highlighter. And you see when I kind of hover over, the word highlighter pops up. I click the highlighter. It turns blue. That lets me know, okay, I'm using it. And then I'm able to just left click and drag over those words that I think are important. Okay. Let's say I accidentally highlighted all that and I'm like, uh-oh, no, that's too much. To undo what you've done, you just go right back to where you want to unhighlight, and you left click, drag over the words that you don't want the highlighter on, lift up the mouse button, and then this remove will pop up. Click remove and it takes your highlighting away. Okay, so that's the highlighter. Left click, drag, lift it up, it'll be highlighted. To undo, left click, drag, hit remove. The next tool is our line reader. Now this is really helpful for people whose eyeballs get lost on the page. Okay, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all those words. I just want to see one word at a time. Well, first my little hand pops up and I can drag it down to where I'm reading. So let's just say I'm going to start at the beginning of this passage. Now there's a lot of tools on this line reader. This tool makes it bigger. So let's just say I don't even want to see these words. I can make the blue part get bigger and block everything. I want to see one sentence at a time, not just one word. Or maybe I want to only see a few words. But you can make it longer. So now I can say in her book, On the Banks of Plum Creek, Laura, and now I'm going to slide it down, Ingalls Wilder described, I'm going to make it just a little bigger because I feel like it's kind of squished, a plague of grasshoppers. Okay, I'm going to drag it down. These insects swept over her family's homestead. So remember, you can drag it down so the rest of the passage is blocked, or you can leave it small because maybe this doesn't bother you and you just want to, focus here. Either way, if you don't want it, exit out, it's gone. The next and last tool in the toolbox is a magnifying glass. It says image magnifier. You click it so it's blue, so you know that you've clicked it, and then you left click and drag it over to your image, and looky there, we have a magnifying glass. So when you have images that have small words, like the map, you can drag it over specific things to make it bigger and easier to read. So it's like a zoom button, but it just zooms in on small areas at a time. Okay, take it down here, look at the key, and then if you don't want it anymore, you just unclick the mouse button. So those are your tools. The other thing that I really want to show you guys that's important as you're working through the test is, let's say, you get to question 2 and you have to drag these, and these are difficult. So the key to dragging these is, I don't know if you can see to the side where it's blue. Blue lets me know it's in where it needs to go. So if I drag it up and I don't see blue yet, like right here, we don't see the background is blue, it's going to pop back down. So these can be a little tricky. But let's just say you've worked on it and you are frustrated and you say, I'm going to come back to this. I don't want to do this right now. It's making me upset. You can bookmark it like we bookmark our websites that are important, so that you don't forget that you skipped it, because it's okay to skip it. So I'm going to bookmark it. And now up here you see question 2 has been bookmarked. So when I get done, I can look back and go, oops, I need to go back to question 2 and answer it, so that you don't leave it blank. Down here it tells you how many questions total you have to answer. It'll tell you how many you've not answered and how many are bookmarked. So this is a great place to come back before you end and submit your test to make sure that you've answered all the questions, or if you need to look over one. And that's another thing. Let's just say, you answer question number 1 and you said it was A, but you weren't really sure. That was the best choice you could make, and maybe after you're done, you'll come back to it and look at it one more time with fresh eyes, because sometimes fresh eyes allow us to see something we were missing before. So you can go ahead and answer what you think it is, bookmark it, and then you can come back before you submit the test and you'll see, okay, I need to check number 1 and answer number 2. Sometimes these assessments are long. Well, this is long, it's 31 questions. That's a lot of reading and a lot of thinking. You might want to do a little bit this morning, and maybe you want to come back this afternoon and work on a little bit, because you're going to have 2 days to work on it. And maybe you're going to work on a little bit tomorrow morning and a little bit tomorrow evening. So if you do that, make sure you pause your test. Don't end and submit the test. Just pause it. It will save the work you've done, and you can come back later and continue working. Okay? So, tools to remember. Toolbox, highlighter, line reader, image magnifier. Okay? Bookmark button right here is great. Pausing your test if you're not finished. End your test if you are finished. Like finish, like you want us to grade it. This drop box will allow you to jump to different questions without having to go through them one at a time. But you can always go one at a time. Okay? You shouldn't need, settings, yes. Let's say this is too small for you. You're having a really hard time reading this because the words are just itty bitty. Go to your settings, click adjust the font size. You can make the plus size, makes it get bigger. Isn't that nice? Much easier to read. Or smaller. Okay? If you get it too big and you can't figure out how to get it back, you can always hit reset and it'll take it back to where it automatically brings it into. The other thing is your contrast. Now, this one is not one of my favorites. I don't really understand how sometimes children or people use this, because to me it kills my eyes, but it's your choice. It's your test and your eyes are different than mine. So let's just say it's easier for you to read it with a purple background or black and white. Like this one kills me, because this one, I look at this and my eyeballs start going, stop it. Okay, there's gray instead of the white. And this is kind of nice to me. This is a little calmer on the eyes. But you know what? I checked these out and I don't like any of them. How do I get back? Reset button. Hit that reset button and you'll go back to your original colors and contrast. Okay? If you need help, again, when we log in today to take your intro, start taking it. we'll be there with you, and we'll be able to help you use these tools or navigate through the test. No worries. All right, guys, see you in just a little bit. Get your thinking brains on and be ready to do your best work.